Welcome to Sun Moon Saga. I hope you enjoy this story. Let's begin. Let me tell you about my grandmother, Clara. She was always the rock of our family, the one with a mischievous sparkle in her eye and a secret smile that hinted at untold stories. Growing up, I adored her tales of adventure, but there was one story she never spoke about, her mysterious love affair from long ago. It all began with an old trunk tucked away in the attic of her quaint farmhouse. The trunk, covered in dust and cobwebs, seemed to hold secrets of its own. Grandma Clara always waved off any questions about it, saying it was just old junk from her youth. But I knew better. There was a gleam of nostalgia in her eyes whenever she glanced at it, and one day, curiosity got the better of me. It was a rainy afternoon when I decided to investigate. Sneaking up to the attic, I found the trunk exactly where I remembered. With a creak, I opened it, revealing a treasure trove of memories frozen in time. Among faded letters and sepia-toned photographs, one item caught my eye. It was a small, leather-bound journal with a fragile spine. Carefully, I opened it, half expecting it to crumble in my hands. Inside were handwritten entries, penned in elegant script that I instantly recognized as Grandma Clara's. The first entry, dated 1955, began with a sentence that sent shivers down my spine. Today, I met him again, against all odds. I was transported back in time to a world where my grandmother was a young woman full of dreams and secrets. The journal chronicled a love affair that defied societal norms of the time. His name was David, a dashing young artist who captured Clara's heart with his sketches and rebellious spirit. Their love blossomed in the aftermath of World War II, a time when life was fragile yet filled with a renewed sense of hope. As I turned the pages, I discovered the challenges they faced: family disapproval, whispers of scandal, and the harsh reality of post-war England. Clara's words painted a vivid picture of stolen moments in hidden cafes, clandestine meetings under starlit skies, and the agony of being torn between duty and desire. David was not just an artist. He was a dreamer who saw beauty in the world and in Clara's eyes. His sketches, tucked between the pages of the journal, revealed a talent that mesmerized and enchanted. Each stroke of his pencil seemed to capture the essence of their forbidden love, the longing, the joy, and the pain of knowing it could never be fully theirs. But fate had other plans. One fateful entry detailed their final meeting, marked by tears and whispered promises beneath a weeping willow tree. David had received an opportunity to study in Paris, an opportunity that meant leaving Claire behind. It was a choice between love and ambition, and in the end, David chose the latter, breaking Clara's heart in the process. The journal spoke of Clara's resilience in the face of heartbreak. She threw herself into her work, eventually becoming a respected teacher and a pillar of her community. Yet, beneath the surface, a part of her remained forever entwined with David's memory, a love affair that shaped the course of her life and ours. Closing the journal, I felt a mix of emotions: amazement at the depth of Grandma Clara's story, sadness for the love that could never be, and gratitude for the opportunity to uncover a hidden chapter of her life. I realized then that some secrets are meant to be kept, not out of shame or fear, but out of a desire to preserve the fragile beauty of memories that transcend time. As the years passed, I became more curious about Grandma Clara's life before she was my grandmother. She was always so full of life, but there was a depth to her that hinted at untold stories. The journal had given me a glimpse into one significant part of her past, but I wanted to understand more about who she was before she became the pillar of strength in our family. One summer, while visiting Grandma Clara's old farmhouse, I stumbled upon a stack of faded photographs in an antique wooden box tucked away in a corner of the living room. The photographs spanned decades, capturing moments of laughter, solemnity, and love. Among them were pictures of a younger Grandma Clara, radiant and carefree, with a group of friends in a bustling city square. I brought the photographs to her, hoping they would spark memories and stories. She looked at them with a mixture of nostalgia and fondness, tracing her fingers over the faces of people long gone. As we sat together, she began to share snippets of her youth, the adventures she had, the dreams she chased, and the challenges she faced. One particular photograph caught my eye, a black and white image of Clara and a young man standing in front of an old bookstore, their arms linked playfully. It was David, unmistakably, with his charming smile and mischievous glint in his eyes. Seeing him in a photograph brought a rush of questions to my mind, but I hesitated to ask. Grandma Clara noticed my hesitation and smiled knowingly. He was a dear friend, she began softly, her gaze fixed on the photograph. David and I shared a bond that transcended words. He was special. I sensed there was more to the story, but Grandma Clara seemed lost in her memories, drifting back to a time when life was simpler yet filled with the promise of endless possibilities. It was as if the photograph had unlocked a door to a part of her heart she had carefully guarded for decades. As the afternoon sun streamed through the lace curtains, Grandma Clara began to speak, her voice a gentle melody weaving through the years. David and I met during a summer festival in London, she recalled, her eyes distant yet alive with the vivid memories. I was studying art history at the university, and he was an aspiring painter. We were drawn to each other from the moment our eyes met across a crowded gallery. Her words painted a picture of a vibrant, post-war London, where creativity flourished amidst the scars of conflict. David, with his magnetic charm and artistic talent, swept Clara into a world of color and passion. They spent days exploring hidden corners of the city, discovering quaint bookstores, cozy cafes, and secluded gardens where they could steal a moment away from prying eyes. It wasn't easy, Grandma Clara continued, her voice tinged with a hint of melancholy. David came from a well-to-do family who expected him to follow a certain path, a path that didn't include a bohemian artist with a head full of dreams. And I was caught between my own ambitions and the pull of a love that defied all logic. She paused, her gaze turning inward as she relived moments that had shaped her youth. I listened intently, hanging on to every word as she unraveled the threads of her past. David and we were young and foolish, she confessed with a wistful smile. We believed love could conquer all, but reality has a way of dampening even the brightest of dreams. The summer faded into autumn, and with it came the harsh reality of their circumstances. Clara's family, staunch traditionalists with deep roots in the community, disapproved of her relationship with David. Rumors began to swirl, whispers of scandal that threatened to tarnish reputations and unravel carefully woven social fabrics. We tried to defy expectations, Grandma Clara reminisced softly, her hands folding over the photograph of her and David. But in the end, David had opportunities I could never give him. His talent was recognized, and he was offered a chance to study in Paris, a chance that would catapult him into the art world's spotlight. I could sense the ache in her voice, the lingering sorrow of a love that had been both a blessing and a curse. Clara had faced a choice: cling to love and risk losing everything she held dear, or let David go and carve out a different path for herself. In the end, she murmured, her gaze meeting mine with a flicker of unshed tears, we chose our respective futures. David left for Paris, and I stayed behind, embracing my studies and eventually forging a career in education. Her resilience shone through the years, a testament to the strength of a woman who had weathered storms and emerged stronger, even if she was scarred. And what about David? I asked her, unable to suppress my curiosity. Did you ever? Grandma Clara's smile was tinged with sadness and a hint of lingering regret. We exchanged letters for a while, she admitted quietly, but life has a way of pulling people apart. David found success in Paris, and I found contentment in teaching and nurturing young minds. As she spoke, I realized that Clara had made peace with the choices she had made, the sacrifices, the heartaches, and the bittersweet memories that had shaped her into the woman I had always admired. David and I drifted apart over the years, Grandma Clara continued, her voice steady but tinged with nostalgia. Life took us in different directions. He continued to paint, gaining recognition in artistic circles, while I focused on my career and building a life here. She paused, her gaze drifting to the window where sunlight danced on the leaves of the old oak tree outside. But there was never a day when I didn't think of him, she confessed softly. David was my muse, my inspiration, and my first love. I listened, captivated by the tenderness in her voice and the depth of emotions that surfaced after all these years. It was as if the passage of time had softened the edges of pain, leaving behind a tapestry of memories woven with love and longing. Sometimes Grandma Clara mused, her eyes distant, yet filled with a quiet intensity. Love is not about how long you stay together, or the happy endings we read in fairy tales. It's about the moments, the stolen glances, the whispered words, and the unspoken promises that linger in the heart forever. Her words resonated deeply within me, echoing the complexities of love that transcended time and circumstance. Clara had lived a life colored by love in all its forms, romantic, familial, and the enduring love for the beauty found in art and nature. As the afternoon stretched into evening, Grandma Clara shared more stories of her adventures abroad, her students who became like family, and the simple joys of a life well lived. Each anecdote carried a lesson, a glimpse into the wisdom she had gathered over the decades. And what about the journal? I finally asked, returning to the catalyst that had unraveled the tapestry of Grandma Clara's past. Why did you keep it hidden all these years? A gentle smile curved Grandma Clara's lips as she reached for the worn leather-bound journal resting on the coffee table. Some stories are meant to be cherished privately, she replied, her fingers tracing the intricate patterns etched into the cover. The journal holds memories of a time when I was young and fearless, when love was both my greatest joy and deepest sorrow. She hesitated for a moment, her gaze meeting mine with a mixture of fondness and solemnity. But you, she continued, her voice soft yet firm, you have uncovered a part of me that I thought was lost to time, and for that, I am grateful. In that moment, I realized the profound gift Grandma Clara had entrusted to me, the legacy of her love, her resilience, and her unwavering belief in the transformative power of the human spirit. The attic trunk and its contents held more than faded photographs and yellowed letters. They held the essence of a life well lived, shaped by love's enduring grace. As twilight settled over the farmhouse, casting long shadows across the room, I held Grandma Clara's hand in mine, savoring the quiet peace that enveloped us. The past and present intertwined seamlessly, connected by the thread of a forbidden love affair that had defied time and left an indelible mark on our family's history. And so, the mystery of my grandmother's forbidden love affair is unveiled, not as a scandalous tale of intrigue, but as a timeless story of love's enduring grace, a legacy passed down through generations, reminding us that love, in all its forms, is the true heartbeat of our shared humanity. Did you enjoy this story? What are your favorite memories of your grandmother? Comment below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.